Mark, what do you think about that question, and also this idea of struggling with the emotional aspect of fatherhood? And I'd love your take on that.
Right. Well, I think we corresponded about this at the time when your book came out, and you wrote very movingly about some working class men and poor men who were their wives had jobs and they didn't, and but they weren't able to fully own the idea. It somehow seemed demeaning to them that they could be stay-at-home dads for a while. Lots of women do it. And I think what you said to me when we talked about the time and in your book was that would change, that over time the acceptability would sort of work its way down the socioeconomic ladder a bit. And I think you're right. I also feel, talking about the sort of emotional valence of fatherhood, I don't think things are good enough at the top. I mean, it is true that if you look at middle class and bourgeois communities and college towns and wealthier neighborhoods, it's a little bit more acceptable to be the dad at the playground. But the vast majority of men I know are terrible about taking paternity leave. They don't feel that they can ask for time off from work. They feel that it will harm their career trajectories, which I think they worry way too much about. And they don't do the most important thing, which Anne Marie Slaughter talks about, which is when you have to leave in the middle of the day for a meeting, say it's because I have to go to the pediatrician. Don't say it's because I'm taking a meeting across. So I think that you were very right to point out that there is a class divide, but I don't want to let upper class fathers off the hook at all.
Yeah, no, we're going to get back.
I agree. I think that hopefully one of the things we're moving towards is people being able to play to their strengths. And there are certainly families where the father's the more nurturing person, and that's the one who should be doing more of the nurturing. And look, when Amanda Marcotte wrote a very angry thing about all these books about fathers are good, and she said, okay, but the real problem is how many fathers don't want to do anything, and that is true. We should say it's a problem of privilege to say, shouldn't some wives give up a little control so that their dad, who's in the household, who has plenty of flexibility, could do more parenting? And I recognize that, but I do think, I agree with Hannah that it is a cultural shift, and it will require both some partners being less perfectionist about certain things, but also some partners demanding more of a role and seeing it as something they want to be good at.